I have been reading Keith Code's book, and I realized it's a lot like parkour. A lot. That was the first thing I noticed. When I learned about target fixation, I was like, that is just like parkour, because you psych yourself out by staring at the very obstacle you're trying to get over. You get a lot of that. A lot of running and then stopping, but that also comes into throttle control. You need to control your acceleration. A lot of people are so determined to get the vault that they run at the wall. And either they're target fixating on the wall itself, so they run up to it and just stop, because they weren't looking past the wall where they want to be. Because then the wall becomes the destination, instead of just another step in your path. And you don't want that wall to be your destination. You want to get past the wall. When you're running, in parkour, the whole thing of cadence, like throttle control and cadence with parkour are so similar. It is the exact same thing. And one of the first things you really need to learn, besides landing and rolling and working on your strength and your balance, the first thing you really want to learn is how to cadence your steps. A lot of people, when they get into parkour, they approach an obstacle and they want to get faster. They want to get over this obstacle. And so they sprint at it. A lot of people start out running too fast towards the obstacle, and they're not ready, and their steps aren't paced right, and they have to stutter step, and they lose all that momentum that helps them actually complete the vault smoothly and successfully. They just lose all that speed that they just had. They sped up, but then they lost it all because they didn't plan it right coming up towards the obstacle. Whereas if you approach the obstacle slower and accelerate, it's a lot smoother. You've got to get your steps timed right, so you're the right distance away for that last step. When you're approaching an obstacle, the first thing you do, you don't slow down, but you just stop running as hard. You stop accelerating until you get, this will sound kind of familiar, until you've kind of paced yourself with where you know you're going to land that last foot before the takeoff over to get through the obstacle over the obstacle. And then once you've got your pacing down, you slowly accelerate into that until you're full tilt just as you get to the obstacle. Airplane. Because the difference between the pros, the guys who look good doing it, it's not that they're faster, it's that they're smoother, and that's what makes them faster. The same thing applies to approaching a corner or anything on a motorcycle. Where are your eyes? Where's your mind? And are you coming in too hot? You come in too hot, you're already scared of it. If you're new at parkour, a basic vault like what I just did will probably be hard for you. That's not, and that's very, very, very basic. I wasn't even doing any particular vault. I was just running at it and vaulting over. But your mind thinks, holy crap, what are you doing? You're running towards concrete. You're crazy. The other thing is you have to fully commit to it. Just like accelerating through a turn means you have to really already be committed. And it's actually lack of commitment in parkour. If you don't really commit to a vault, that's what will get you hurt. Because you can clip your feet. All those things you're scared of doing, you're actually more likely to do by trying to protect yourself. If you give it 100%, you're probably not going to get hurt. It's just funny. And when you're riding a bike, you have to commit, or else if you back off from fear, you're actually making the bike unstable and doing all the things you don't want to do. You know, you stare at the side of the road because you don't want to go towards the side of the road. What do? You go right off the road. And it's hard to break that mental block. I still can't do a front flip for that very reason. I end up twisting in the air because I've not been able to break that fear barrier. It's all mental at that point. I'm physically capable of doing a front flip, and I understand the mechanics of it. It's just, you have to find a way to break that fear barrier and stop that gut instinct reaction. You have to change your pattern until it becomes second nature. Okay. Cornering practice. You guys have all been riding with me for a while. You know I'm not good at this. You've all been very nice to not say very much. Of course I had to stop at the stop sign. It was sort of a stop. Okay. The trouble is not speeding while cornering correctly. Because to accelerate through this corner, for example, without going over 25 miles an hour, which I'm doing right now, would doing this. Slowing way the heck down. I don't really want to do that. It means having to slow down right away from every turn. Here's a tight one. Oh, stop sign. Don't die, bike. Good boy, Shamu. He's been so patient with me learning. He probably a lot of times gets annoyed. I gotta make it hard on him, I'm sure. I'm managing to not speed, somehow. We'll just keep it in second gear so that we can have some power and not be speeding too much. Well, this one is down a hill. And it scares the shit out of me. Woo! This is still second gear, 6,500 RPM. If I go to third gear, it's like barely enough. I hate having to slow down on a corner, but so many times in Chicago they insist on putting stop signs at the bottom of hills around a corner. Those are really fun in winter, even in a car. Oh yeah. So this is not an exciting vlog. This is Lori just trying to ride smoothly and not have the engine die. And then we're over. Wow, do I look ridiculous? Okay. So